Voice over IP, as it's known, looks like a tidal wave bearing down on Australian telecommunications.
It'll make a huge difference to the way people use the phone.
It already has in Australia's big companies.
At least 90% will have some type of voice over IP system or device in there that's actually performing the function. So it's well entrenched now within corporate Australia.
It is very exciting stuff.
Imported car retailer Inchcape turns over $1.4 billion a year. The company has merged its national phone and computer systems.
And we've stopped all the trunk calls between Sydney and Melbourne, Sydney and Perth, Sydney and Brisbane. So the toll bypass savings you get are there and real.
What you then pay for a call, or whether you pay at all, will depend on who you phone. If they have a traditional telephone, there's the cost of switching the call onto and using the existing network. But if the person you're calling also has a broadband phone, there may be no time limits and no cost beyond your monthly broadband connection charge.
Very profound for those of us who have come from the old telephone industry.
This Australian company urges internet users to download free phone software, buy a new phone that plugs into most computers, and pay at the most a fraction of standard call costs, or maybe nothing.
You can have someone anywhere else connected to the internet, anywhere in the world, download that same piece of software, and then off you go, and you can start making calls between those connections for essentially nothing.
So the would-be telcos are lining up to cash in.
Voice over IP will become the de facto standard for telephony services within the next 3 to 5 years.
I think it's a revolution.
Terry Carew is on a mission to promote the technology just where telecommunications is at its most politically sensitive.
You've only got to go out in the bush and you hear some of the stories, you know, and the usual anecdote out there is that the only time you see a Telstra vehicle in the bush is when it's lost.
It's a view Telstra has been fighting to overcome as a precondition to its possible full privatisation. Now Terry Carew is about to tour regional Australia, preaching from this billboard on wheels about how voice over IP and wireless technology can sidestep the giant telco and end the tyranny of distance.
Where we can find 400 to 500 customers in an area, we'll be able to get some of the big operators from Sydney to actually provide wireless broadband to the bush.
It sounds like a nightmare for Telstra, and would be if there was a mass migration off Telstra's copper phone wire network to the internet.
Access and local calls last year for Telstra were about 20% of their total revenue. So there's $4 or $5 billion worth of revenue just there that will be impacted over time.
Voice over IP, I think, is finally going to deliver something even more pervasive and more efficient and cost-saving than the web has been.